Hello, everyone, and welcome to Birth Your Vision podcast. And I'm your host, Hannah Kupuli. So, welcome to most of you who are here for the first time. And I just want to let you know that this podcast is all about giving resources for women in business and also those who are aspiring entrepreneurs who are actually looking for ideas, direction, and support to be able to get more advice on how to start their business as well as transform their visions or their ideas into a successful, profitable business. So every week you will hear from amazing candid interviews with remarkable women and men who have actually turned their visions into successful businesses. And so today I am so excited and thrilled to have an amazing guest, Eran Bucai, who is a leading expert in the field of business systems and operations management. And he helps experts, aspiring course creators, membership owners with their tech struggles. And so if you're having challenges with setting up your sales funnels, your websites, your online courses and membership, Eran is actually amazing and he's a specialist in this area, as well as helping businesses to actually choose the right software to manage their day-to-day business operation. He is a highly sought after speaker, consultant, and also a soon to be author. He has a wealth of experience in helping businesses to actually streamline their operations as well as increase efficiency and achieve more results. And so in today's live podcast show, we're going to be sharing a very good, amazing tips and strategies on how you can actually use business systems to be able to get good results and also to be able to know how to identify areas that you need to be able to use them for, especially for automations and also managing your day-to-day business operation. And so without further ado, please welcome my guest. Thank you so much for coming to today's show. It's amazing to see you.
My pleasure. Thanks. What an intro.
Absolutely, is well
I'm
deserving.
humbled.
I love to make my guests feel very welcome. So
I
thank you so
appreciate it.
much for being part of this amazing, wonderful interview. It's great to see you. So tell us, where in the world are you being interviewed from today?
Yeah, yes. I'm actually in Dubai, and
Wow.
I moved here two and a half months ago, approximately. And
Okay.
yeah,
Excellent.
I just came here on holiday and thought this place is great, and I left my suitcase here and stayed.
That's one of the best way to do things. Just find a great place to go, and
Yeah,
automatically sometimes you'll now fall in love with that place, right? Which is really amazing,
yeah,
awesome stuff. So, what's the
yeah.
weather like in Dubai?
I mean, look, it's a desert. It's typically hot, So, but it was raining a little bit, like last
Yeah.
week as well. So, bit of both. But
Mhm.
it's generally warm. It's good weather overall. So,
Absolutely. So good to
yeah,
see
yeah.
you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
My
And,
pleasure.
I am so excited about today's topic. It's all about business systems.
Yeah.
And, there are so many people who have signed up to actually watch and listen. So, if you are watching us live, please grab a pen and a notebook
Yeah.
because my wonderful guest will be sharing quite a lot of nuggets. So please do take note. It's very, very important. And so, you do have a backstory, apart from you being an expert in this field of tech,
Hmm.
helping people who struggle with sales funnels, with,
Yeah.
websites and business systems, making the right choices on which one to choose. But
Mm.
before you became who you are today, there is a backstory to you. So just take us on your journey on how you were able to kind of discover your vision.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, if we were to go, I could give you a really long answer. I'll try to keep it really short and to the point. The bottom
Hmm.
line for me, like I really do like helping people. That's kind of, a passion you could say. I think everybody like that.
Yes.
And I did a lot of I did volunteer work primarily my whole life. So, worked for nonprofits. So it's always kind of in the core in my bone to do that. But when you do that, that's one way to help people. And there's just so
Yes.
many ways in the world that you can help people. And the tech stuff, I'm not necessarily passionate about tech. I'm passionate about helping people. And I've simply
Mm,
isolated a point in the market where people really do struggle. And I'm not an expert in, say, women's health. I'm not an expert in personal training. I'm not an expert in other things that really I'm never going to learn on my own. I'm never going to be that person to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
But there are people who are experts at that and they do an amazing job at that field, but they're being held up by the tech stuff because they can't get their expertise out there. They're like the world's best kept secret on this one topic. And by
Hmm.
being able to serve them, I can create that ripple effect because, I can help people from niches that I know nothing about,
Yeah.
but I can help them because I can find an expert that's struggling with getting their word out there. They don't have a marketing funnel. They don't know how to attract their customers. They don't understand their messaging, things along these lines. So as long as I can serve these people, then I can
Yes.
help many people, even though people don't know me, but on the back
Yeah.
end, that guy that does that. So it's just a problem that I identified in the market, and and it pays well, it's profitable for me as well, and it's good fun. So that's kind of how that evolved.
Absolutely. You mentioned something about in order for you to be able to kind of achieve that success is about helping people.
Yeah.
Making money is about just helping people, solving a
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
It's really that simple, isn't it? I was listening
Yep.
to an audio with one of the most successful men, and he was talking about success is about just identifying what the problem is and making sure
Hmm.
that you find a solution to it. And that's what you've done.
Hmm.
You may not really particularly like tech, but you've actually found a solution to people's problems who are
Yeah.
struggling with
Yeah.
building their sales funnel, with identifying the best business systems to be able to help them with their online business. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for really sharing that with us.
Yeah.
The world just needs someone who can actually solve a problem,
Yep.
right?
That's right.
Yeah. What is your take on that? Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, there is making money online can get a bad
Yeah.
rap because it can be it can come from a point of greed or a point of scarcity or a point
Hmm.
of I just want to make money in some way, like I don't really care. At which point you start selling garbage just for the sake of making a dollar, right? And then you can get a bad rap for money. But the reality is that if you can also find something that truly adds value to the world, you will create a sustainable business because there's only so much you can be driven by greed. Yes, there is that element of you need to survive to make some
Mm.
money,
Yeah.
but you can never be fulfilled as an individual if that's your sole drive, right?
Mm.
And that's why even though it's really hard to quote unquote follow the passion to start with when you're not making money,
Yeah.
right? But on the long run, I can build a way more sustainable business that way because I don't burn out because I'm not fulfilled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I get up every morning and every day is a new day. I'm like new client, new niche, new industry that I can serve all of a sudden. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I love
Absolutely.
that. I love that part of the business where I just learn about totally new niches that I had no idea existed that helps people. Yeah,
Absolutely. That's incredible.
yeah,
And you know what? There is a story about your life. I've heard you share this story on another platform. And I just want us to kind of open up a gateway for us to kind of get to know who you are
sure.
and how you became who you are today, actually.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, so in terms of like if we look at the world, right, as a general thing, we want
Yeah.
to go a little bit deeper in terms of goals and purposes and what motivates us.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm privileged, right? I'm able-bodied. I've been born in a good country. I was born in Israel originally, and I moved to Australia. I had good parents, good family, good upbringing. Yes, when I started the online business, I didn't have any money. I didn't have any connections. I didn't have any skills. And yes, these are, to some degree, deficiencies, you could say, or, starting point. But compared to where other people are, there's always somebody in the world
Mm,
who's got it worse than you. So, even
absolutely. Yeah.
even when you're starting from zero, and I've recognized that a long time ago that I really did have, I had a pretty good life. I can't complain. I had really good upbringing, good
Mm,
parenting, good all that stuff. So I think it's really important to keep things in perspective as well.
yeah.
No matter how difficult things might appear. I mean, it's just, that's kind of to me is a really good, important driver to keep things in perspective. There's a movie called Freedom Riders. You familiar with that movie? I
no, I'm not.
No,
Tell me more.
incredible movie. It won an Oscar for something. And then every time I feel like oh, I've got it easy, or or whatever, like you got it, you think you're struggling. If you watch that
Yeah.
movie, puts life in perspective so much.
Mm.
Freedom Riders, and another one is called Coda. It's about Coda stands for a child of a
Yeah.
deaf adult, basically, and it puts
Okay.
privilege in a completely different perspective. So I love entertainment that puts life in perspective in a completely different manner. Uh,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. To me, that's a really good driver. To really know that okay, I've got it good, and I got a responsibility to help those that don't have it as good because I'm in a position to do
Absolutely.
something about it. Yeah,
Absolutely, indeed. I
yeah,
think we really have to appreciate what we have, and also we have to also remember that there are other people who do not really have as much as we do.
mm,
And so, whatever level we're at and wherever we're starting from, that it's
yeah,
important for us to value that and also,
yeah,
find a way to support other people, which is very much important.
yeah,
Thank you for sharing that with us, which
yeah.
is really amazing. And, you are the founder of an amazing business. And I just want you to tell us a little bit more
Sure.
about what made you decide to actually start your business around
Yeah,
the tech niche, the industry
yeah,
that you're in at the moment.
totally. So, cut a long story short, my journey starting online started just over 5 years ago, give or take. And I was
Hmm.
transitioning from the nonprofit, wanting to where to make money. So if you look at
Yeah,
my journey, there's a 5-year journey, but the
right.
first 2 years, really, I
Mm,
I paid for high ticket coaching programs and masterminds, which really didn't add value to my life the way I hoped. It did make me some
right.
money. It did make me
Hmm.
money, but it also didn't teach me skills that would have served me long term necessarily. It didn't teach me how to find
Okay.
customers, for example. And
Hmm.
I came out of that experience feeling a bit jaded about the whole industry of making money
Yeah.
online, to be honest, right?
Mm.
And it taught me important lessons. I came out with a massive debt, 55K debt, out of that experience from investing, for taking loans out to
Wow.
support. And to me it was a good lesson. And because I started with nothing at the beginning, i.e. no money, I really felt passionate about helping beginners start and grow and launch an
Yes.
online business without the marketing hype, which is where most people get, because it's very difficult when you're starting online to not fall into the shiny object syndrome. It's very difficult not to.
Yes.
You may
So
say, I
true.
don't want to be effect of this shiny object syndrome, but it's very difficult not to, no matter who you are. So
Mm.
by me providing different services and products and things that are going to help people at the beginning without charging them crazy money, without promising the world and giving them short-term hype. I feel that's a really important mission for me, because that's who I
Mm.
wish I had to serve me when I first got started in those
Exactly.
early days. I'm looking at
Yeah.
me like, okay, broke, no money, on unemployment benefits, no income. How the hell do I start? What is the right information? I didn't feel I had that in the first 2 years. And it's only through trial and error that I figured it out. And I did feel I figured out a really good process. It doesn't mean it's the only
Hmm.
process. For example, what you're doing now is an amazing
Yeah.
strategy of podcasting. It's an incredible networking strategy, right? And
Absolutely.
that's not a strategy that I've done to find customers, but I know that strategy is amazing, right? So it doesn't mean that
Hmm.
my methods are the only methods. That's not the point. But there is no marketing hype in my methods. It's very much okay. A, B, C, D, test,
Mm.
reiterate, pivot, try again, persist, organize, get better systems.
Yeah.
And I like to do that because I also know I can't tell somebody, oh, in 8 weeks you'll be all sweet. It's just not going to happen. It's going to take two
Mm.
years
Yeah.
minimum. You know what I mean? But then if I charge small amount of money, like a low ticket membership,
Yeah.
then I can support them over a long term with the realms of reality. Yeah, yeah,
I love that because,
yeah.
sometimes we invest in ourselves and sometimes it may not be the right investment in terms of the kind of programs we've actually gone on in terms of coaching. They promise, so much amazing results and you end up not receiving no results whatsoever. And, you end up being in debt, which is something that actually happened to you.
Yeah.
And it's so difficult. I mean, what advice would you give to people who are investing in
Mm.
high level of coaching and
Hmm.
really they're not getting the results?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's difficult because I can't say, um, it applies to every coach out there. And I'm not against
Yeah.
high ticket as a general thing, right? It's a business model
Mm.
that obviously makes sense. But what I would say is whether you pay somebody $1 or you pay somebody $10,000, the amount
Right.
of work you need to put in at the beginning doesn't change a lot. It really doesn't,
Mhm.
right? So realize that you're not getting a tremendous amount of shortcut on the effort. You might be getting
Mhm.
shortcut on how to do things better and things like that, but it doesn't change the roadmap that you need to follow.
Yes.
It's still, you still have to walk the
Absolutely.
walk. The fact that you got an Uber driver
Mhm.
helping you get there, you know what I mean? Or somebody that's gonna, is gonna walk with you, that doesn't just change the
Yeah.
fact that you have to still do the walk, and that's not gonna change, right? And people think that when they
Absolutely.
are buying a course, they're getting an instant boom, boom, and it just does not
Mm.
work that way. You still need to learn why the coach is telling you to do what they're telling you. You know, like if you're coaching somebody on podcasting, fantastic. They need to
Mhm.
understand why am I doing this? You know what I mean? And it's just so important
Exactly.
to have the real context of their strategy,
Mm.
and that's just not going to happen
Yeah.
overnight. It doesn't matter how much
No,
podcast they're going to watch.
the
It will
process, isn't
only
it?
happen when they start taking action. And yeah, they need to get beat up in business a little bit and learn, you know, go and talk to some customers, get some market feedback, and you know what I mean? You
Yeah.
have to.
So true. Indeed, definitely. So, we're talking about business systems today and how important and beneficial business systems are.
Yeah.
Especially if you're thinking about starting a business, you've got to be
Yeah.
thinking about how am I going to be able to have a system to be able to help me to
Mhm.
really have a clear idea on exactly how to organize everything. So, how is your operational activities going to be? Where is it going to be? How are you going to be able to manage your courses, your email lists, your
Mm.
funnels? And so, we're talking about business systems, and you are very much an expert in this. You have helped countless people to build their systems, and you've actually supported them to identify the kind of systems that it's good for them, which is really great. So I
Mm.
want you to kind of let us know more about what is a business system.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I look at business, this is a bit of like a framework that I used in my membership and in my business.
Yeah.
And this is a 4-step framework. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Point number one is eliminate distractions, eliminate
Yes.
to-dos that you think are good idea that are
Mm-hmm.
just not really a good idea. You can't chase 3 rabbits and expect to catch them all, right? So that's a matter of focus. We all have a
Yeah.
lot of good ideas. How quick we
Mm-hmm.
implement them is what matters. So
Yeah.
step one is always eliminate. Step number two is
Eliminate.
automate. Step number
Okay.
two is automate. There's a lot of things that you can do and should do, but a lot of
Mm.
these things can be automated. A classic example of automation is, let's just say, a random example, like we're doing this podcast interview, right? And then you want to schedule a time with me, right? A way to automate is when you send me a form with my information, my website link, a little bit of bio, my
Mm-hmm.
picture, blah, 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 for all the promotion,
Yeah.
creating that checklist and that form you created, which was a very intelligent strategy and all that,
Mm.
that's an automation piece, right?
Yes.
And and just one tiny example. There's so many examples for
Mm-hmm.
automations, probably thousands of different ways, right?
Mm.
But another thing is that once you have different automations, once you start doing the work, you start walking through the journey, you can
Yeah.
see, okay, what do I like, what do I not like, what do I really have to do manually, what can I automate? So that's step number 2.
Mm.
Step number 3 is systemize, creating systems, which kind of flows with automation,
Yeah.
right? But the systemize step is a repetitive, and that's what we're talking about today, business systems. So a business
Business.
system for somebody in your shoes, as an example, is okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
You reach out to somebody that you feel will add good value to your audience. You do a
Yeah.
podcast. Once you have the podcast, you have a digital asset, which is this video, this YouTube video, that's going to live there
Yeah.
forever. You will
Mm-hmm.
benefit from SEO purposes for if people search Eran Bucai on Google or YouTube, your YouTube channel might come up, right? That's a system,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And people need to understand that there's SEO value, right? That collaboration, because you're leveraging the fact that I have a name, and if somebody searches, they might find your podcast. So you want to optimize your
Mm.
video. Then you want to take that video and maybe create a blog, and the blog might have chapters for the video, so people can actually search for the specific section. add a transcription, that's content.
Mhm.
That whole piece is all a process, a system. Now you can
Absolutely.
then promote that on, you can then create on the blog post, as an example, shareable links. So if somebody reads it and they're like, I love it, they can click on a button to share to their social media. That's an
Yeah.
example of an automation / process. Now, everything I've just told you, you can do all that on your own, no problem. And you probably should at the beginning to get the feel for that process and to really figure that out.
Yeah.
But after a while, you're like, do I really want to do this? No. At which point you take that content, record a video on Loom to demonstrate every single piece of your process that I've just explained, right?
Yeah.
Take that video, turn it into a digital course that you can give to your virtual assistant team, who will implement all that for you from here on out. Number
Yeah.
2, take that digital asset and sell it to other entrepreneurs who want to create a similar process. All of a sudden, you're selling a product that doesn't depend on your time or money, right? What I've just described is an entire process, right?
Yes.
Now, let's recap. Eliminate, automate,
Yep. Systemize.
Number 4, hire / outsource, right?
Outsource, yes.
But you can only really outsource once you understand a little bit more those pieces, because you need to tell your VAs, okay, what do you do? You know, how do you delegate, right? And that's the 4-step framework that I work on, right? Now we're talking about business systems today, right? Now I can give you so many business systems that I have in my business, right?
Yeah.
It will be all wonderful and it will blow your mind. It will be great and but it will also overwhelm, because you continually add business systems as you grow your business, because you always, that process, it's not a 1, 2, 3, 4, you're done. It's much more, it's more of a roundabout. It's more of a circle of continued, okay, what's unnecessary and you can eliminate? Okay, what can you automate? Okay, what can I systemize? Okay, what do I have to hire for? What can I eliminate? That. And you continually go through that framework, which slowly but surely gets you from idea to living off passive / recurring income and making a living online, which is independent of your efforts and time. And then you can be location independent. That's the framework that I follow. Now, the first business system that anybody listening to this, if you're just getting started, there's one business system you need to think about. Forget about Loom videos and forget about creating checklists and forms and surveys and blah. That will come. This will just overwhelm you if you're getting started. There's only one business system you should care about at the beginning, and that is, what's your strangers to customers process? What is the business system for strangers to customers? That's all you should care about. Right? How do you get somebody from, I have no idea who you are, to I want to pay you and work with you? Right? It's all you should care about. Nothing else. That process might look like, as an example, let's talk about, like we're here on a podcast, okay?
Yeah.
Good. So you reach out to people that you feel could add value. You get shared on our platform. You post on my Facebook group. I shared on my Instagram just now. You know, that's a way to get a little bit of exposure to your brand. Great.
Absolutely.
Okay? And then maybe there's a potential collaboration here between us, and maybe there is. It doesn't matter, but you've made a connection. Great. Next week, you do the next podcast. Next week, you do the next one. You're consistent with that. At some point, you'll leverage those relationships, and that compound effect will trigger that strangers to customers somehow, right? And get that customer.
Absolutely.
I love a strangers to customers process that starts with Zoom calls, where you literally are finding people who you might be potential customers and just get on a call and just say, hi, this is my business, and I just want to make friends with people online in case they know of anybody that might be interested in what I have to offer. It doesn't mean you sell them, but building relationships, you know?
Absolutely.
And that's the business system to focus on at the beginning. So, yeah.
I love that. You've basically just broken down a lot in one. So I love the 4-step system, which is to eliminate, automate, systemize, and outsource. That is a fantastic framework. And also you talked about audience and also how to ensure that you're able to get people that don't know you to the point that they're able to buy from you, which is very important.
Right.
Because that is really key, isn't it? Because you want people to be able to see exactly what you're offering. And even if they don't know you, that there's a way that they can buy from you, right? Which is very, very important. And so, you know, which business system would you advise for businesses that are just getting started?
Yeah.
So I've worked with, a lot of women who are starting their businesses from scratch. And sometimes what they really do need is a system where everything can be in one place, an all in
Hmm.
one system where they can do their email marketing, where they can
Hmm.
put their online courses, where they could book, prospective clients to go
Yeah.
on call with them. So,
Yeah.
what type of system do you feel it's
Yeah.
best, or could you recommend for those who are just getting started in business?
Yeah. I really like System.io personally. That's really
Yeah, so
my,
do I.
yeah, I love System.io. I think that's how
Hmm.
we connected actually. Right.
Absolutely,
So
yeah, through
I don't know
system.
if you found me in the group or on YouTube. Do you remember it was group or
It
YouTube?
was
How
both.
did
I
you find
found you
me?
on the group, then I found you on YouTube. Yeah, and here we are
Right. There
today.
you go. So here's the thing. Here we are today, right?
Yeah,
But that's a perfect example. Strangers to what's my strangers to customers
It-
process?
that's
Is
right.
creating YouTube
Absolutely.
videos.
Yeah.
There's a digital asset that sit there. But
Hmm.
but back to your point, what business system? So number one, it doesn't matter which one. That's number one. Okay, you could pick anything, but if you want something simple that works, that has all in one place, system is very difficult to beat because it's 197 a year, and you get email marketing, landing pages, funnels, blogs, website, video hosting, course area,
Yeah.
everything in one place. Now, the
Right.
business system that you really need at the beginning to think about is a landing page and a landing page funnel, a lead magnet funnel, right?
Yeah.
And the lead magnet is very simple. It's basically one pager, which
Hmm.
basically gives them something free of value, whether it's a free PDF or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, you're serving people, teaching them about podcast.
Hmm.
Great. So, five five reasons why podcasting is the best lead generation strategy, something, something, whatever. Create
Yeah.
a lead
Yeah.
magnet, simple PDF,
Hmm.
great. They download it. The thank you page, especially if you're getting started, should say, thank you so much for downloading. Really appreciate it. As a
Yeah.
thank you for downloading it, I wanted to invite you to do a free consultation with me to, figure out a roadmap for your
Hmm.
podcasting journey. And I
Journey.
want to offer that totally free of charge. This is not a sales call. I simply want to get to know people who might be considering this journey so I can really refine what I offer to my audience
Yeah.
in the future. And
Hmm.
I'm hoping to get to know my potential ideal customers on a much deeper level. So consider this a
Yes.
completely free coaching call at no extra cost. And all I ask is, your dedicated time for 20 minutes to just have a chat on Zoom. And then, you just start doing those conversations, basically. You do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 of those conversations. You might not get any customers, but you'll get a tremendous amount of market feedback, right?
Yeah.
Just from that alone, right?
Hmm.
And also, you can go the other way where you could say, instead of telling them do a free consult, you could say, I'd like to invite you to be on my podcast. All of a sudden, even though it's just a podcast,
Hmm.
for them, they're like, well, it's a much easier yes to agree to get on your podcast versus a coaching call. You know what I mean? Because they're like, oh, they'll put the
Absolutely.
defenses up. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah. Indeed. I love that. There's so many strategies when it comes to business and how to do things. Like you've just mentioned, there are opportunities. So you can invite them for a podcast and interview them and also
Right.
just share what you do. And sometimes that's where people are now able to kind of say, actually, I've been thinking about, starting my own podcast. I just never thought, I'm able to do it, but it's really great. So can I book your session? So it does work, it really does
100%.
work. Absolutely,
100%.
indeed, for sure. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for covering that. So, for those who are watching, if you are starting a business, it's important that you have a simple system in place. And one of the things that you should have is a landing page
Yeah.
because you're able to kind of share that landing page with your prospective clients who wants to see who you are, what you do, and what you offer, which is
Hmm.
very, very important. And once they see that, they're able to schedule a call with you. It's really that simple. And there is
Hmm.
a system that could actually help you to do that. And we'll be sharing that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
And so you have a great membership. I love the membership. Your membership is absolutely buzzing. Anytime I go onto your Facebook page, there are millions of people asking questions literally
Yeah.
about tech issues. So
Yeah.
you help various businesses to actually use different business software tools
Yeah.
from Kajabi
Yeah.
to Zelna, to system and things like that, which is pretty much amazing. So describe your membership and
Yeah.
how people can actually sign up to it.
Yeah. So my membership is primarily focused on the tech side, primarily.
Hmm.
And I've got two memberships, I should say now, because I'm doing one membership, which is the tech support, and I'm launching another membership, which is a templates and coaching membership, right? Which is
Hmm.
something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but it's
Yeah.
been economically, it didn't make sense to do earlier. I couldn't financially afford to do that membership. It's going to be $77 a year, right? So it's like
Right.
super crazy cheap, right? For
Very affordable.
um,
Yeah.
very affordable, right? But
Hmm.
I just couldn't financially do it. Now I can. It makes sense for me to launch it. So I'm at the
Yeah.
stage where my tech support membership, which is more expensive, is funding the fact that I can launch the templates and coaching membership, right? And also I've created enough resources to be able to justify, okay, like I already have a lot of the resources created, like a checklist, landing page challenge checklist, for example, where I literally have 10 plus tutorials, templates, everything in one place for somebody to go and
Mm.
set up the entire landing page for free, totally free,
Yeah.
no cost, right? As an example, the tech support membership is, and this is a really good example. I want you to first of all ignore the fact that I'm talking about my membership with the idea that
Yeah.
you might sign up. Forget about the fact that you might or might not join. I want you
Hmm.
to I want you to understand for a second. This is me explaining now my strangers to customers process. So take that not as a pitch, take it as an inspiration to, okay, great.
Yeah.
How can I implement that in my business?
Hmm.
So, and this is a key point. When I launched my membership, I was doing a lot of one-on-one. Now with the one-on-one, I help them. We finish the
Yeah.
session. I build a
Hmm.
website. They're happy, all done. But then they have questions for me afterwards. But
Yeah.
those questions, they weren't paid for. Like, it's not like, they ask me because it's a kind of a follow-up. And I was like, look, I need to figure out a way to monetize being asked questions. But also, as we know, as entrepreneurs, we're always on the hamster wheel of creating content. You're here on this podcast. You're not getting paid for this podcast, right? You're putting this effort. You've created slides. You've created, the banner that we're seeing right now. You're paying for StreamYard for the subscription. You're not getting paid for this podcast per se. It's an investment of your energy and your time to create this content. And it's always a hamster wheel that we're on as entrepreneurs, especially at the beginning. Nothing wrong with that.
Mm.
But I'll give you a little hack that is my YouTube strategy. Basically, I decided I don't want to create free content anymore. Instead, I'll have people sign up for a membership where they can ask me any questions about business systems, tech questions, all that stuff, system, Kajabi, Zenler,
Hmm.
processes, whatever. When they ask me the question, I will then answer them in under 24 hours with a solution. Now, the way it worked is I then record a video to answer that question, but I wouldn't record it saying, hey, Hannah, thanks for your question, blah, blah, blah. Let's say you ask me a question, hey, Eran, I want
Yeah.
to set up an exit pop-up on my landing page on system.
Hmm.
Can you tell me how to do that? So instead of me saying, hey, Hannah, thanks for your question, I would say in the beginning of the video, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up an exit pop-up on landing page in System.io so you can make sure that you have a high converting landing page and you have a higher chance of people joining your email list when they land up on your landing page. So let me share my screen and show you how it's done. Blah, 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 show how it's done, all that stuff. And at the end, say, by the way, this question came from Hannah, who's from somebody in my tech support membership.
Hmm.
And if you want to learn more about it, go to eran.link/DCT, dotcomtruths. That's what it stands for.
Right.
And you can learn more about that if you want to get the ability to ask me questions and get personalized answers. Now, I take that, I record it on Loom. I send that Loom video to you, Hannah, or the client, whoever that is, immediately.
Yeah.
They get an answer in under 24 hours. I then take that Loom video, I put it into a project management tool to my video editor. My video editor edits the video for YouTube, sends it to me, I approve it or reject it, you know what I mean? Then they turn it over to my next VA on the project management tool, who then uploads it to YouTube, does all the SEO, uploads it, goes to the next VA, and it turns into a blog post, right? Now I've got a process of the tech support.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my videos on YouTube, I've got 400, 500 plus videos. They're based on questions from people. And this is my strangers to customers process because number one, I'm getting paid to create content upfront.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already getting paid. I don't care if I get 1 view or 100 views or 1 million views because I already got paid for creating that video.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously with the collateral of the content, of course, search engine optimization is going to be in my favor because I'm creating so much content for YouTube. My content gets boosted. I've got 2,000 subscribers now at the time of recording.
Mm-hmm.
Now YouTube is paying me revenue, right? That's an extra income stream that's starting up. And people like you are finding me to get help on whatever. Creates that flywheel effect. And this is a strangers to customers process. Now, in your membership, if you were to launch a membership like that, like you're serving people podcast, great.
Yeah.
You can create a low ticket membership and say, look, pay me $10 a month. I'll answer any questions you want or whatever. I'm only taking 100 people. That might not sound like a lot, but hey, that's $1,000 a month on recurring income.
Right. It adds up.
to get paid to create content.
Yeah.
And that $1,000 can pay for the VAs to create the process, so you don't have to do all that stuff on your own.
Definitely.
Now, in my tech support membership, I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm trying to give you a context here. In my tech support membership, because I've created a lot of those processes myself already.
Yeah.
For example, video editors, I've got 2 video editors. The way I found them and trained them is I learned video editing myself. I recorded a course on video editing. I'm no expert. I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? And I turn it over to my VAs. Now, in my tech support membership, people can also get access to this course. And I'll say, look, don't do the course for you. Take it and give it to your video editor. Right?
I love it. You have to be very smart with it. Yeah, definitely. That sounds really amazing. Awesome stuff. You shared quite a lot of great strategies around it, to be quite honest. You know, audience building, client building and stuff like that, which is really awesome. And so, you know, how do people determine the best business systems for their specific, you know, business needs? Because everybody has different business needs. So how do they determine which one is the best one for them?
It's a great question. I found mine for Facebook, sorry. That's the first place. Other people's Facebook groups. Yeah. And that's what's worked for me the most. YouTube is a slow burn. I think YouTube is applicable for most people, but also some people don't like camera. So there's an aspect of comfort.
True. Yeah.
I would say the best thing you can do is actually just try the different platforms and get a feel for what you're comfortable with. You know, maybe you'll love TikTok. You know what I mean? I tried TikTok. I didn't like it at all. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I know somebody who makes multiple 6 figures a year. She probably makes, you know, 300,000 a year. She does 2 launches a year, makes 150K each launch. And she gets all her customers from TikTok, right? I went on TikTok and I was like, this is just not for me, right? But I do like videos, tutorials. I find that very easy to record, very, very easy to record. I love the fact that I can repurpose it. I love the fact that a lot of tools give you automatic transcription and chapters and all that. I like the evergreen aspect of YouTube. I love the fact that YouTube is an incredible evergreen machine, you know, and that's what's worked for me. But that's not how I started. I started with Facebook, other people's Facebook groups. So I've got a whole strategy on how to get customers on Facebook groups. But you got to find what's aligned with your skill set and what you're comfortable with. And in some cases, you're going to have to also do some things that you're not comfortable with to get the traction that you're looking for, you know?
Absolutely.
I would urge anybody that's starting out, go do a Facebook Live for the next 30 days, every day, to talk about your business, your ideal customer challenges, get yourself out of that comfort zone, see how you feel after 30 days, you know?
I think that's a great challenge, actually. It's going to kind of get you off that comfortable zone.
Yep.
And get you doing things. And by the time you do it on the 30th day, you become a pro.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's a great challenge to start with. And so what are the benefits when it comes to investing in a business systems? I mean, you've worked with quite a lot of clients and they've told you many benefits and how it's made their business operations a lot more easier. Yeah. So, you know, what are the benefits?
So this is why when you're getting started, the less systems you have, the better, actually. Because at the beginning, you don't even know what you're automating yet. You actually don't know. You don't know what's taking too much time. You don't know how to automate. You don't even know what's possible to be automated. That's why the first business system is strangers to customers. You only will figure out what you need to automate as you start growing the business through actually acquiring customers, because you'll figure out what are the bottlenecks on your strangers to customers process. What is the bottlenecks on your fulfillment process, right? You know, you'll sell a product and you'll be like, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I need a Zoom. Oh, okay, I need to set up a calendar. Oh, okay, I need to set up calendar reminders or even booking reminders. Oh, how do I do that? Oh, I need to answer emails. Okay, how can I answer emails more efficiently? You know what I mean? You won't know until you start getting customers. Get customers, get customers, get customers, get customers, get customers. That's the main focus. And then you'll figure out where the bottlenecks are or see where things are slowing you down and all that stuff. But the initial business system is definitely just that initial landing page, maybe a
Yeah.
booking calendar for people could talk to you, this
Hmm.
ability to talk to people on Zoom. That's the minimum at the very beginning, yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when it comes to using business system to help streamline operations and to save time,
Yep.
so what kind of examples can people save time on? Is it email marketing campaigns or is it the whole lot?
The whole lot, because you'll figure out different
Yeah.
ways. So, but I'll give
Hmm.
you an example, right? There's a tool that a lot of people don't even know exists. It's called Text Blaze. It's text automation strategy, where I can set up an automation where I can, instead of typing, like you sent me an invite email,
Yeah.
for example, saying, "Hey, fill in the form, join this link, da da da, whatever." You know what I mean? Or an
Hmm.
outreach. Let's say you reach out to me the first time, like your
Yeah.
first message you sent me. Now you can write a personal message for sure, but you can also have a template that's pre-written. Now on the template, you can create an automation where you basically have a text short / outreach, let's say. As soon as you type / outreach, it will populate a massive email template that's pre-written.
Yeah.
And all you do is you change my name, change the email, change a little bit about what you learned about me. So there's like some personalization.
Yeah.
And then you hit on send, right? It's just way faster to do it that way. So that's an example of a business system that, you can continually add more and more to, right? And it's a Chrome extension. So,
Hmm.
that's just one example. Another example is if you are doing podcasts with people, for example,
Yeah.
if
Hmm.
you just keep a list of all those people on a Google Sheet, so you can, in a year from now, go back and just send a message like you need more customers. Just send a message. Hey, just want to say hi. We did a podcast in case you forgot. Here's the link, by the way, just to refresh your mind. Just want to say thanks for being on that podcast. Love to know what you're up to. How's it going?
Mm.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Simple business system that you
Absolutely.
can just have set up, and then, you know what I mean?
Indeed, definitely. So when it comes to maybe sort of tracking down your finances and your cash flow with
Yeah.
the business systems, what tips and strategies can you give us for that?
Yeah, I use Google Sheets for that. It's
Okay.
now like every month on the first of the month, I
Hmm.
go through my numbers. That's what I do. So I've got a Google Sheet that makes a list of all my subscriptions, everything that I'm paying for, all my expenses, right? And then I evaluate. Okay, because sometimes we have a bit of a shiny object, even though we just we sign up for things that you like. Do I really need that? So so I go through that. I also go through, and I've got like the key metrics for me, KPIs, right? So I go
Mm.
through each bank account, how much money I have in each bank account. If I have any debts, I would list that, the different credit cards,
Yeah.
especially when I don't have debts now, but I mean, I have a mortgage on one of my invested properties, but previously it was just I had credit card debt. So I would list that, and that will be the minus, you know what I
Mm.
mean? And then I would have a calculation of my net worth. So every month I'm like, okay, great. How can I add 10, 20, whatever? If I don't grow my net worth every month, I'm like, okay, great. Am
Yeah.
I spending too much money on something? Am I not getting enough customers? Am I not closing enough? Do I need more traffic? What's going on? Is my offers not converting anymore? What's happening, right?
Yeah.
And then I would say at the beginning, it's really important because your goal when you're starting online, there is so much marketing hype. Make
Yeah.
6 figures online,
Mm.
travel the world, blah, blah, blah. Forget about all that stuff. Listen, the things that you need to do at the beginning is you need to have your living and business expenses paid for through passive or recurring income. That's the goal.
Income. Yeah.
What you want to achieve beyond that, well, that depends on your lifestyle. Like I'm in Dubai now. It's a little bit, if I want to do some extra excursions here, if I want to go skydiving, do you know what I mean? That's an extra grand out of pocket right there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
But it's all a matter of choice where you live. If you've got a
Hmm.
family, if you want to invest in property, like what are your goals? But the goal is identical for everybody. How to live off passive / recurring income so it pays for your living and business expenses. That's the initial goal. And that's what your grid should focus on at the beginning. How it grows from there, well, the sky's the limit. But
Hmm.
I'm not selling that pipe dream. I'm just telling you, like, the goal is identical for everybody, for at the beginning. By the time
Absolutely.
by the time you get to that stage, you'll be savvy enough to figure out where else you want to go.
It's true, definitely. We have to know what we want, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we can know the kind of life that we want to live as well.
Yep.
Definitely. And so you talked about, passive income, and I think passive income is definitely important. And people are doing business in a new way now,
Yeah.
in terms of not the traditional way anymore, but the new way of doing business, which is starting an online business, having a business system in place. And so for those who are watching us who are thinking, you know what, I want to start an online business, what advice would you give to them in terms of
Um,
the first steps to take to get
great,
started?
great
Mm.
question. Simple
Hmm.
framework. Number one, get a
Yeah.
skill. If you already have a
Mm.
skill, if you already have a skill of some sort, like
Yeah.
you're a coach of some sort, you've got some expertise, great. Go find a customer today. Today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month.
Now.
Today. Today.
Yeah.
Not even landing page. Forget a landing page. Go
Yeah.
find a customer today. Doesn't
Today.
matter if it's free, doesn't matter if it's paid, go get a customer.
Customer. Mm.
Right? Like if you listen to this podcast and you're like, yeah, I want to start an online business. If you don't go and find a customer after this, you've just wasted 45 minutes of your life.
Absolutely.
Right? Again,
We're sharing
because
so much.
it's
Take
probably not the
action.
first. It's probably not the first podcast you're listening to, right? Go find a customer. I know it's so like simple,
Mm.
but I mean, if I'm pushing you to do that, I mean, I just know if somebody's listening to this right now, they will probably squirm in their chair because it's so uncomfortable to think about. If you've never done it before, it's like, but hang on, what do you mean? Like, go find a customer? Like,
Yeah.
but what do I price it? No. You're
Just,
procrastinating.
yeah.
Go
Absolutely.
find a customer. It doesn't matter if they pay you $1. Go get a customer. Learn from the experience. You will get paid. The payment you're getting for that first customer is the experience of having a customer. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it?
Right.
What worked? What didn't work? What could you done better? What was their challenges? What were their pain points? How could you improve? And also the testimonial they're going to give you at the end, because you better do a great job with that customer too, right?
Yeah.
That testimonial is going to pay off way more. You do that with 10 people, you got 10 customers. All of a sudden, your landing page is looking pretty good.
So true. You've got testimonials. You've got customers' experience. You can do a video. You can do a write-up testimony. They could give you a write-up testimonial.
That's
you
right.
can now create a free social media platform. You choose one, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram. You place it on there, and then you introduce yourself. Hey, this is who I am, and these are some of the stuff that I've done. If you're interested, please hit the link below. So that's why I was saying that people are doing business in a new modern way.
Yeah.
The easy way. So as long as you have a skill, like you've just said, skill is so important, because now skills are really well needed, especially in this season.
Yes.
And also I love this framework, which is the ATM framework: audience, trust, and monetize. So you build an audience first, let people know that you are here and that you have a skill. Let them see you, and then you showcase the skill. And so as you're building the audience, what you're doing is you're taking them through a journey to trust you, right?
Yeah.
Trusting is very much important in business. Once they can trust you, then you can start to monetize those skills, because you've built the audience, you've made them fall in love with your dream and your skills and what you do, and they can see that you can actually solve a problem. And from there, you build your trust, and then immediately you can say, right, this is what I'm going to be offering, and this is my services. Majority of them will actually book that service because they've seen it firsthand, just like what you've said. Get a skill and find a client.
Yeah.
Right? Those multiple experiences of you delivering your services is shaping you up into becoming an entrepreneur. And you can repurpose that. You can create content out of it. You can share all that testimonial online so that people can actually see that, you're definitely good at what you're doing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll eliminate another objection that somebody might have. They'll be like, but what if I don't know what skill to pick? Doesn't actually matter.
It doesn't.
Pick a skill.
A skill.
The worst case scenario is that after one customer, you'll be like, I freaking hate that. Okay? And then you'll pivot to something else. That's so the whole point.
Yeah, you've got to try it out. That's what we call market research. And
that's right.
That's giving it a go, like testing your idea. And I usually just get people to just write it down, because we are so skillful that we ourselves don't even know how much we have in us when it comes to skills. You know, sometimes when I give people pens and paper to write their skills, they have almost 10,
Yep.
and yet they claim they don't have any skill, but then they do. So it's about choosing the one that you want to do, because sometimes you
Yep.
can have a skill and you may not like it,
Yep.
you
That's
know.
right.
But you got to test it out and say to
Yep.
yourself, I'm going to give myself a bit of time and just
That's right.
see how this skill goes. If I like it, fine, and if I don't, I'm
Yeah.
going to change it. So there's opportunity for you to test an idea out.
That's right. That's right. I did that. I'll tell you a funny story. I did that
Hmm.
once. I already was building websites, and I was wanting to follow the same formula. Like everything I'm telling you, this is not like
Yeah.
some made up stuff. Like I followed this process multiple times.
Hmm.
While I was building websites, I was looking to add another service to my business model because I figured, I had two clients, I remember, and they needed a video created for their homepage, right? And I thought, okay, let me add a video creation process. So I went, bought a software, bought a course, learned how to do video creation. I
Hmm.
made like $2,000 from selling a video package to those clients. I did the project. I overall enjoyed the creative process and learning and all that. And I finished and I made $2,000 out of the whole thing. And I was like, there is zero chance I will ever sell that service again. It is just way too much. It's way too tedious for me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Hmm.
I love the experience,
Yes.
and I've learned that I don't ever want to do it again. You know what I mean?
And that's the power of testing it out first.
Totally. But
Yeah.
here's what happened with that skill.
Hmm.
I then, because I learned video editing with those two clients and got paid for it, I learned how to edit my own videos for YouTube. So then I
YouTube.
started
Yeah.
my own video for YouTube. And then I
Mm.
recorded video tutorials for my video editing course. So I can turn it over to my VAs and hire two video editors who knows how to do video editing based on my training. And now I
Mm.
can outsource video editing to people, not because I'm doing the video editing, but because I train two video editors to do it.
Which exactly. So you
So
got
that
something
original
out of it.
skill, exactly. So
Mm.
that original skill
Yeah.
wasn't, it didn't go to waste.
Mm-mm.
It's just, you just figure out later down the track how to repurpose. Another
Absolutely.
example, there was somebody, this is not a funny story, I'll tell you. There was, Quora.com. It's like a Q&A website, massive
Yes.
Q&A
Yeah. Yeah.
website.
Yeah. Hmm.
I did a course on how to do Quora marketing one day, right? When I was back in the day, I was learning digital marketing. I was just learning all sorts of skills. And I did Quora and I was doing things. I don't think I ever got any traffic from it. But
Hmm.
one day, somebody wanted to get a book written and they were looking for a ghostwriter. And one of the chapters was Quora marketing. So I was like, bam, I'll do the chapter. I'll ghostwrite it for you. And I happen to know the guy was a millionaire. So he paid me $800 to ghostwrite a chapter on Quora marketing.
That's
Hey,
incredible. Yeah. The power
no
of just
worries.
learning a skill and knowing a
Yeah,
skill.
yeah. So I did a
Absolutely.
copyright. I was a ghostwriter for somebody's book on that
Mm.
skill that I didn't give me any customers, but hey, I got paid in a different way. So
Absolutely.
don't worry about complicating the skills. Just,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So yes,
Yeah.
when is your book coming out? I know you are
Well,
writing at the moment.
so I've got a book on Amazon called Beginner's Guide to Email Marketing.
Yeah.
That's one book that I have. I
Hmm.
do want to have a book just about my brand and stuff. And it's interesting. It's I'm not. I know I could write one right now and publish it.
You could.
I could, but I'm still. I think the timing. I'm very focused, and
Yeah.
when it goes with the 4-step framework, eliminate,
Hmm.
automate, systemize, outsource.
And outsource.
It's one of those ideas that I know I need to do. I know I want to do, but
Yeah.
right now it's just a rabbit I don't want to chase. But I have it on my
Absolutely. Yeah.
roadmap.
Hmm.
So I see myself more publishing a book in a year or two proper, and because the email marketing guide, I love doing that book. I didn't do a
Yeah.
big launch or anything. It's there, it's wonderful. But I
Hmm.
learned about the experience, and now I'm like, okay, next time I publish a book, I want to have a proper, genuine, massive launch. Like,
Much.
I don't want to
Yeah.
just publish the book without a real strategy to become a bestseller.
Absolutely.
And that
Yes.
takes time and focus, which is where
Hmm.
step one is eliminate the shiny object. As much as
Yeah.
I want to write a book, in fact, if you go to my Instagram, I'll tell you another business system, a little hack.
Hmm.
If you go to my Instagram right now, and let me just tell you the highlights, right? If you go and look at the highlights, and there's a
Hmm.
highlight called My Story,
Right.
right? If you look at that highlight, you will basically see my story. A lot of what I say from the very beginning, how I got started, da 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 da. And you see, there's a lot of text. Now, periodically, when I'm sitting in a coffee shop and I've got time on my hands and I feel inspired to continue to write it, I go on Instagram and I create a massive story thing with a
Yes.
hook and all that, and an open loop and the whole copywriting strategy. And I just share it to my story, to the highlight. Why am I doing that?
Mm.
Because it's an inspiration moment. And then I have a virtual assistant who keeps track of a Google Doc, and they take the text from this highlight, turn it into
Yeah.
a Google Doc. So that's my book. My book is being slowly written over time. It's already like 20 pages, right? But it's actually, you know what I mean? So that's another system,
Mm.
business system that I've created,
Absolutely.
you know? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think everything that we do as business owners, we need a strategy. It's so important so
Yeah.
that we can actually have more cash flow and
Mm-hmm.
also streamline a lot of things that we're doing, which is really key. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. And just to kind of bring everything in as we've been
Yeah.
able to talk about business systems, what is your advice to those who are thinking of actually choosing a business system for their business at the moment? And
Yeah.
what are the best recommendations?
Yeah. I definitely think start really simple. So use
Hmm.
Google Docs, Google Sheets, simple for your tracking, for
Right.
your mind mapping, downloading your thoughts into a piece of paper,
Hmm.
your web pages, all that. Just download all that stuff. And I've got checklists for that as well. Like I've got a website creation checklist as well, which you can share, for
Yeah.
example, with all that stuff. So I would say start with something really simple like that. I definitely
Okay.
recommend system.io for sure for your
Absolutely.
landing page and all that. And I've got a checklist
Hmm.
for that, which is the landing page challenge checklist. So that's what I would start. And that's pretty much at the very beginning. Um, yeah, but that's in terms of systems. But again,
Hmm.
pick a skill, go get a customer. Then we'll talk about systems as well.
I love that. Pick a skill and go and get a customer. And please let us know once you've actually grabbed a customer,
Yeah,
you've delivered your service to them so that we can actually just cheer you on. Excellent
that's right.
stuff. And
That's
so,
right.
what I usually do is to actually just give my guest a very fun question, just to
Sure.
kind of jazz it all up a little bit. So, I've got a very good, funny question for you. And it goes like this. So, if you could actually grab a drink with anyone in the world, who would it be?
um, there is probably you know who I would say, like
Mm,
I'm trying to pick up somebody that I know I can't quite reach them yet at the moment.
yeah.
I would
So,
actually say Melanie Perkins. Do you know who she
okay.
is?
Melanie Perkins. Tell us more. We want to know who she is.
She's the CEO of Canva.com.
Fantastic. I would love to have a drink with her,
CEO,
right?
CEO and founder of Canva.com.
I would actually love to interview her. Yes, you know what? We're gonna make it happen.
It's probably an answer nobody expects, but that's somebody that I have so
Yeah.
much respect
She's
for.
the chief executive officer of Canva.
She founded
Absolutely.
it. She founded it,
That's
and
incredible. Yeah.
she's an
Hmm.
incredible entrepreneur. I have so much respect for her. I love the
Yeah.
business she's created. We
Hmm.
all love Canva. We all
Yes.
we're all thankful and grateful and for what she created, and we don't even know who she is.
Right.
Most people don't
Right.
even know who she is,
Hmm.
right? I would probably love to. Um, I just think that um, she built something so beautiful and genuine and
Yeah.
so
And
ego
is
free,
everlasting. Like you will always need it in
everlasting.
your business.
Yeah. And it's so ego free. It's
Yeah.
not her face, it's not her brand. She's not doing, you could feel it in the brand. It's just so
Yeah.
clean. Everything
Is
about
your
it
is
is
your
so
go-to
clean.
tool, isn't it?
And everybody loves it. And she created an incredible business.
Mm,
It's valued at $40 billion. They've got, that's how much the business is valued at,
absolutely.
$40 billion.
Well,
When I
she's
did my
now,
math,
yeah,
she's my age, right? It's incredible.
she's
She's like,
32. Yeah,
yeah, she's 30, yeah, she's 32, is she?
32 according to Google.
Oh my God. Well, I'm an old man then. She's younger than me.
Well, this might be
But
an old data anyway. So, yeah.
still, either way, that's somebody
Hmm.
that I really there's not a lot of interviews if you're on YouTube. You know what I mean? I would love to.
Mm.
I just find her.
It'll be great to actually interview her. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
I actually tried to
Indeed.
reach out to her once for my
Okay.
summit
Any
last
luck?
year. And then I got to, because I knew it's going to be really hard to get her. So I thought I'm going to really do my homework. And I went down the rabbit hole. And I
Right.
spent 3 days reading every article about her and YouTube videos. And I was like, I'm absolutely in love with this woman from as a
Mm,
business perspective,
of course,
from a
absolutely. You
business to
admire.
business. As a
Yeah.
business owner,
Hmm.
she is so incredible. She really is
Yeah.
so incredible.
And that's the
Um,
level we need to be looking at in terms of just creating something that
yeah,
everybody needs,
yeah, yeah.
right?
So the membership I'm launching in the middle of this month, 15th of
Mm.
February, is very much inspired by Canva, basically in terms
Oh,
of,
wow.
I mean, it's not, I'm not doing a software like Canva,
Of
but my
course, yeah.
my templates and coaching business membership, $77 a year, super
Hmm.
cheap, is actually inspired a lot from what I learned about Canva in when I did those 3 days rabbit hole. It's
Yeah.
very much inspired by a lot of what I learned about her journey and how she started and all
Mm.
that stuff. Yeah, yeah,
That's incredible. Thank you for
yeah,
dropping that into our soul. So, who really,
yeah.
yeah, incredible. So, who else
Didn't expect that
inspires
answer,
you?
did you?
I love it, absolutely, actually. So, if either one of us, makes a connection with her, we need to
Yeah,
let each other know.
that's right. That's right.
Absolutely. So, who truly inspires you, really? And, what keeps you going?
Just helping people, to be honest.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's good enough for me, right? Just
Absolutely.
being able to help people. When I get emails
Mm,
from people thanking me for helping them, when
yeah.
people leave comments on a podcast like this and be like, "This was great. I really found value in this," or whatever. That's
Yeah.
the only thing I need to keep going. As long as
Hmm.
I'm helping people, I've got a reason to live. You know what I mean? So
I love that.
without that, I know I'm helping people, but it's good to also not have to read people's mind, but actually hear it from them. You know what I mean? Um, it's great sometimes when you get, I was in a membership. I joined a membership not long ago when I'm like a guest expert or whatever for the
Yeah.
tech stuff,
Hmm.
and somebody was saying, "Oh my God, I love Iran. I've been following his channel for so long, and he's so good, and it's so exciting." And I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. No idea. I
A
love that
fan.
because I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm reaching people.
Mm,
I'm reaching different territories, and I love that ability to reach. There's a really common question people ask in their marketing webinars, which I really dislike. That question is, if you want to make $100,000 a year or $1 million a year, is it easier to sell 10 customers $100,000 package, or is it easier to sell 100,000 people $10 package? What's easier? And everybody's like, oh, 10
mm,
people. It's like, great, yeah, that's what we should have sell a high ticket, da 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 da. And I
mm,
I have a completely different. I'm like, no, I want to serve 100,000 people. I don't want to
mm.
serve 10. I
Yeah.
want to serve 100,000. My answer is not how quickly can I get to $1 million. My question is how many more people can I reach
Can you
as
reach it?
efficiently, effectively, and give them the biggest value. But if
Mm,
I'm charging 100 grand from 10 people, I'm going to be so engrossed with helping them,
yeah.
I will forget about the 100,000, 200,000, million, 10 million that I can reach.
Mm,
I
yeah.
much prefer, my satisfaction is the volume, not the, and I know the money will follow anyway. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm not broke.
Absolutely.
I'm not, it's not like I mean, depending what, everybody's got a different definition of broke, you know what I mean? But I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I think you're all about helping the masses. You're a giver,
yeah,
so your
that's
mindset
my
is totally
focus.
different. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Indeed, definitely. Wow, we've
yeah.
come to the end of this amazing show. It's almost like we're two friends in a coffee shop having a
There you
drink
go, having a
and just having a
chat.
conversation.
That's right.
And I've really definitely
Cheers.
enjoyed it. You're welcome. You're definitely welcome. So, where can our listeners find you?
Number one, they can leave a comment below and
Hmm.
tag me at
Yeah.
Eran Bucai, and I'll probably see it and I'll probably reply because I'm just like that. So that's number one. They can go to my website,
Yeah.
eranbucai.com. They can just Google my name, or Eran Bucai. They'll find my websites.
Hmm.
Eranfunnels.com is another website. But, keep things simple.
Yeah.
Just tag me below, shoot me an email, track me on Instagram or Facebook. I'm very, very responsive. If you make half an effort to reach out to me, chances are I will reply to you.
You reply. Absolutely. So, I've shared your YouTube and also your membership and your email link as well.
Yep.
So
Yep.
people can actually reach out to you. And
Perfect.
also, what is the last inspirational word that you can actually share with our audience just to inspire them to get started and to really
Yeah.
give birth to their vision?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'll tell you something that I told somebody that I was serving
Mm,
a couple of years ago. She was helping addicts, but not addicts, alcohol addicts. She
yeah,
was helping the families of
right.
alcohol addicts, the families who were suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her at the time, I said, you need to think about that every day that you're not
Yeah.
growing your business,
Mm-hmm.
there is a family there that's suffering because you haven't hustled
Taking
enough
action.
or put in
Yeah.
the work to reach out to them. So instead of
Mm,
being focused and obsessed about you and where you want to dream and you want to travel the world and da 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 da, and it's all great.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I
Mm,
just moved to Dubai. You know, I went skydiving. I got laser surgery. I got rid of my glasses. I went zip line. Went to Israel for a holiday recently. It's not like I don't have these things, that I don't do these things. But the point
yeah.
is that I'm way more motivated and driven by who I can help, who I can serve. And if you can figure out the end user that you are serving, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, okay, you're
Mhm.
selling people
Yeah.
setting up their podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of thinking about their podcasts, think
Yeah.
about your customers who, maybe it's stay-at-home moms who are dealing with kids with special needs, as an
Right.
example.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible niche, right? Um, that's an example of, there's mothers out there who are suffering because they don't have the tools or don't have the community even to support them. Sometimes it's just the
Exactly.
community needs. So instead of thinking about the podcast setup,
Mm,
take it a step further, the end
yeah.
user, you know? Um, and I love looking at it that way. That to me is the most inspiring thing. I don't get up thinking about, I'm gonna
Mm,
connect somebody's domain name today. Woohoo. I don't, who cares? Who freaking cares? You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Mm,
Or a landing page. Who cares about it? That's not the point. The point is that landing page is going to get somebody who's genuinely suffering in life right now in some way, some area of their life, and you can actually help them solve it faster. And the time that you're procrastinating on launching and getting going, you're just leaving them suffering for an extra day or 2 days or a month.
absolutely.
Or and I
Yeah.
feel that's probably the most, you know what I mean? Don't be
Mm,
selfish. Don't be
yeah.
selfish by not launching and procrastinating, because you're being selfish.
Absolutely. I couldn't have
Yeah.
said it more better than you. So thank you so much, Iran. It's been a
My
pleasure
pleasure.
having you on the episode today. So I am so honored that you are on our show today. So thank you so
Yeah.
much.
My
So
pleasure.
please, you're so welcome. So to all our wonderful audience and our listeners, do get in touch with Iran. All his contact details is there. Follow him on Instagram, YouTube, and also go and view his membership. And also you can actually, connect with him via email or even go to his website. So all the information are there in the notes section. And so we've come to the end of the show.
Cool.
Yeah. So thanks for joining me for this episode of Birth Your Vision podcast. I appreciate your presence on this wonderful edition. And please remember that you can actually leave a rating and a review, as well as subscribe to my podcast. And, also recommend it to your families and to your friends, and also to those who are at the verge of starting a business and they are looking for business systems to use. This particular episode we actually help them to get started, and my wonderful guest Iran will also be able to help them to actually set up those systems. So do get in touch, and I hope you've actually made lots of notes. So take action and make sure that you find a skill, get a client, and get paid. Okay. So I would like to say thank you so much. And I want you to join me on the next episode coming soon next week. And also leave your comments and also share and continue to support the Birth Your Vision podcast movement. So thank you so much to my wonderful guest. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And just to wrap up very nicely, what has been your experience in terms of being a guest on the Birth Your Vision podcast?
So I think being on any podcast is really good
Yeah,
because the interaction gets you, it's like a playground to test your
right.
ideas, to test your
Hmm.
messaging, right? I find that every podcast that I do always leads to better clarity. Like the
Yeah.
fact that I can rattle off the eliminate, automate, systemize, outsource. You know what I mean? That's a framework that, that's a messaging that I've been working on for a long time. So I love just having that opportunity to share those ideas,
Yes. Yeah.
and so on. And then also your systems on the back end were super cool. Obviously, I'll
Try.
give you a couple of tips on things could be done better, but overall,
Yeah.
we can
I'm
always
very
improve.
open to it.
Yeah. But like when you look at the branding, like I'm looking at the overlay you have, with
Yeah.
the title on the top and your nice picture at the bottom, and it's just cool. Like I noticed those little things. I think that's super cool. And
Excellent.
yeah, I love all that stuff. So really, really great job on all that.
Thank you so much for being on the show. So until next time, take care, everyone. Have a great evening and stay blessed. Thank you all. Bye for now.
Cheers. Bye.